Every alien feared him, and she trembled at the name of the human warrior HFY. John Carter was a name that echoed across the galaxy. In every alien market, in every quiet corner of distant planets, the name brought whispers, fear, and awe. He was a human warrior unlike any other. No one knew exactly where he was, and yet, when his name was spoken, even the strongest alien fleets would hesitate. Some said he had fought 100 battles alone. Some said he had destroyed entire armies without mercy. And some said he had disappeared, leaving only his legend behind. On a quiet world far from human space, Lisa Grant looked up at the stars. She was young, only 21, and she worked as a diplomat for her people. She traveled from world to world, learning, talking, and trying to keep peace. Her job was difficult, but she loved it. It made her feel that she could make a difference. But tonight, as her ship drifted near the edge of human-controlled space, she heard something that made her stomach turn. "John Carter," the alien trader whispered. Lisa froze. She had never heard the name before. She tilted her head, listening. "Who is he?" she asked quietly. "The human warrior," the trader said, glancing around as if someone might hear. "Every alien fears him. Every fleet, every soldier, every captain. No one dares fight him, and yet he still lives." Lisa shivered. She had heard stories of humans being strong, clever, even dangerous. But a single human being so feared that the galaxy whispered his name like a curse. It was hard to believe. The trader leaned closer. "They say he does not fight for glory or power. He fights only to protect. He chooses his battles, but when he acts, even the strongest enemies fall. His name is fear. His name is hope." Lisa swallowed. She had to know more. She asked questions, but the trader only shook his head. "You will see one day," he said. "If you are lucky, he will cross your path. If you are unlucky, he will already know you exist before you even see him." The words stayed in Lisa's mind long after she left the market. She tried to sleep, but she could not. She kept thinking about John Carter, the human warrior. Was he really alive? Could one human really be so strong, so clever, and so feared? She did not know, but she felt a strange fear, something she had never felt before. The next day, Lisa's ship was moving slowly through a neutral system when a fleet appeared on the scanner. Alien ships, fast and sharp, moved with precision. They were not friendly. They were pirates. They demanded that she stop her ship. Lisa's crew was nervous. They had been trained for diplomacy, not for battle. "They must be after something," Lisa said. "Maybe our cargo, maybe us. We need to stay calm." "We cannot fight them," said her first officer, Taryn. "We are diplomats. We are not soldiers." Lisa looked at the approaching ships. She could see the weapons glowing, the engines burning bright. She knew that if they attacked, her crew would not survive. She felt fear, real fear, the kind she had never felt before, and then over the comm a voice spoke. "Stand down." The voice was calm, strong, and human. Lisa froze, her eyes widened. She did not know what she expected, but this was not it. The pirate ships hesitated. Someone had stopped them. Someone had the courage to stop an entire fleet. Then another voice came, this time from a ship that appeared from the darkness. It was small but fast. The ship moved with skill, weaving between the pirates, disabling weapons without firing a single shot that hit a crew member. "Who is that?" Lisa whispered. "I do not know," Taryn said, "but whoever they are good." The human ship moved like a shadow, appearing and disappearing, striking only where necessary. In less than an hour, the pirate fleet retreated, engines damaged, ships crippled, and their morale broken. Lisa's ship was safe, not a scratch on it. She stared at the empty space where the human ship had been and realized she had just witnessed something extraordinary. "That was," Lisa started. "Incredible," Taryn finished. But Lisa could not stop thinking about the name the trader had whispered. Could it be him? Could this calm, strong, dangerous human really be John Carter? She did not know, but something in her chest told her that it was. After the battle, she requested permission to follow the ship. She wanted answers. Her crew protested. afraid of humans, afraid of legends, afraid of the unknown. But Lisa was determined. She felt that meeting this human could change everything she thought she knew about strength, courage, and honor. She followed the human ship through the star system, careful not to be noticed. She saw how it moved, saw how it avoided detection, saw how it protected weaker ships along the way. It was not killing for power. It was protecting for survival, for life. Lisa realized that the stories she had heard were true, but only in part. John Carter was feared, yes, but not because he was cruel. He was feared because he was unstoppable. As the human ship disappeared into the darkness, Lisa felt a mix of fear and awe. She had to meet him. She had to understand him. The name John Carter would haunt her dreams, and she knew that when she finally met him, nothing would be the same again. That night, Lisa could not sleep. She looked at the stars and whispered to herself, "Who are you, John Carter?" She did not expect an answer, and yet she felt as if the galaxy itself was listening. The story of the human warrior had begun for her, not as a legend but as a living, breathing force. She did not yet know his past, his battles, or his sacrifices. She only knew that he was different from every human she had ever met. He was stronger, smarter, and braver. And somewhere deep inside, she felt both fear and hope. Fear because of his power, and hope because perhaps, just perhaps, humans were not what her people had taught her. The next day, Lisa's diplomatic mission continued, but her thoughts never left the human warrior. She watched the scanners constantly, hoping for another glimpse. She wondered about the stories she had heard, stories of armies defeated by one man, of planets saved by a single human. She wondered if she could survive meeting him. She did not have long to wait. As her ship passed near a gas giant, a shadow fell over her viewports. A ship appeared out of nowhere, larger now, closer, but silent, almost like it had always been there. Lisa's heart beat faster. She whispered his name again, almost as if saying it would summon him. "John Carter," she breathed. The ship did not speak. It did not fire. It simply moved alongside her, watching, waiting. Lisa felt a chill, a real chill, as if the presence of this human could see into her soul. She did not know how it was possible, but she felt exposed, vulnerable, and alive all at once. For the first time in her life, Lisa realized that legends were not always exaggerations. Some stories were true. Some names carried weight beyond imagination. John Carter was real. And he was more than a name. He was a force of the universe, a human warrior who could change everything. And Lisa trembled, not out of fear of death, but out of the realization that she was about to meet a human unlike any other. John Carter was far from the diplomatic worlds and alien fleets. He lived quietly on a small human colony on the outer edge of human space. The colony was simple, built on plains of red rock, with small farms and workshops. John had long ago left the battles and fame behind. He wanted nothing more than peace, yet the galaxy did not allow him that. His name carried weight, and weight brought attention, danger, and war. On this quiet morning, John worked in his workshop, repairing a small transport ship. He preferred machines over people. Machines did not betray you, machines did not judge you, and machines did not fear you. He worked with careful hands, adjusting wires, checking engines, and testing power systems. The colony trusted him, for he could fix almost anything. Ben Taylor, a longtime friend and former soldier, approached the workshop. Ben's face was tense, his eyes sharp. "John," he said, lowering his voice, "you need to hear this. Aliens are moving near our sector. They are asking questions about you, about where you are." John did not look up. He tightened a bolt on the engine. "Then they will not find me," he said simply. "I am not hiding, but I am not seeking them either." "It's not that simple," Ben said. He stepped closer, lowering his voice further. "They are not ordinary pirates. They are well-trained, organized. Some of their scouts claim to know your past battles. They fear you, yes, but they also want to test you. They want to see if the stories are true." John finally looked up. His eyes were calm but sharp. They always want to test the stories, he said. Always. Tell me, Ben, have they found anyone yet? Ben shook his head. Not yet. But some have disappeared. They say the human warrior will appear when the time is right. John's hands paused. The time is never right, he thought. War never comes at the right time. But he said nothing. He knew there was no use in arguing with rumors. The galaxy had always wanted to test him, wanted to measure his strength. And sometimes he wished they would leave him alone. Far away, Lisa Grant's ship moved quietly through human space. She could not stop thinking about the human warrior she had seen, the one who had saved her from the pirates. She studied the small movements of the ship, the careful way it protected weaker vessels. She had expected a monster. Instead, she saw calm, skill, and restraint. The human warrior was real, and he was nothing like she had imagined. She spent hours scanning the ship, trying to find a way to communicate. She wanted to know his name, his purpose, his mission. She wanted to understand why one human could make the entire galaxy fear him. But the ship never responded. It moved like a shadow, invisible until it chose to be seen. Back at the colony, John was interrupted by Kevin Ross, another former soldier and old friend. Kevin was younger, energetic, always eager for action. He entered the workshop with a serious look. "John, it's time," he said. "They are moving closer. You cannot stay hidden forever." John shook his head. "I do not want another fight," he said. "I do not want war. I only want to help people survive, nothing more." Kevin frowned. "They will not care. You are a symbol now, John. Even if you hide, even if you refuse, they will come. Better we face them on our terms than wait for them to strike first." John sighed. He had thought he could live quietly. He had thought the galaxy would leave him alone. But the galaxy never allowed peace for someone like him. He grabbed his old combat gear, not because he wanted to fight, but because he had no choice. As Lisa's ship moved closer to human space, she saw signs of conflict. Some outposts were under attack, small battles that barely reached human ears. She realized that the stories of John Carter were not just legends. Humans, with his guidance, were defending themselves, even against large alien forces. She watched as one small outpost was surrounded. A group of human fighters appeared, led by a single figure in a command ship. It moved like a shadow, appearing, striking, and disappearing. "That is him," Lisa whispered to her crew. "The human warrior." Her crew stared in awe. They had heard stories of strong humans, clever humans, but nothing like this. The human warrior moved not with anger, not with cruelty, but with focus, with purpose. He was not a conqueror. He was a protector. John's ship approached the outpost. He gave orders calmly, directing fighters, guiding them to weak points, and using clever tactics to avoid unnecessary damage. The aliens attacking the outpost were strong and fast, but John's knowledge and skill were stronger. In less than an hour, the outpost was safe, and the attacking forces retreated, unable to break the human line. After the battle, John helped the outpost repair damage and tend to the injured. He spoke quietly to those who were scared, calming them, giving them hope. Ben and Kevin watched, amazed. "He does not fight for glory," Ben said. "He fights because it is right." Lisa watched from a distance. She had expected a monster, a legend who would strike fear with every movement. Instead, she saw a man who cared, a man who risked himself for others, a man whose strength was unmatched but whose heart was human. She felt fear and admiration at the same time. She realized she had to meet him, to speak with him, to understand why the galaxy feared this one human so much. That night, Lisa's ship followed John's trail. She remained hidden, careful not to be seen. She watched as he moved from outpost to outpost, always helping, always protecting. She saw the truth behind the stories. He was dangerous, yes, but only to those who threatened life. He was gentle, yes, but only with those he protected. She felt her fear slowly change into something else, something like respect, maybe even hope. John returned to his quiet colony the next day. He did not celebrate victories or make announcements. He repaired his ship, he spoke to friends, he helped those in need. He moved as if nothing had happened, yet the galaxy knew better. Alien scouts and traders whispered about him. Fleets feared him. His legend grew not because he sought it, but because he lived by his code. Lisa decided to take a risk. She approached his colony quietly, landing her ship on a distant hill. She did not know if he would welcome her. She did not know if he would see her as a threat. She only knew that she had to meet the human warrior, to speak with him, to understand him. She stepped out of her ship, the wind blowing across her face. She saw John walking toward her workshop, calm, observing, careful. Her heart raced. She had seen him in battle, she had seen his skill, she had seen his courage. But seeing him now up close made her tremble. The stories had been true, and yet the man was more than she had imagined. John noticed her. He did not speak immediately. He watched, assessing, curious. He had seen many strangers, many diplomats, many aliens, but this one seemed different. She carried no weapons. She moved cautiously, respectfully, yet there was a spark in her eyes. He sensed she had followed him, that she had witnessed his battles, that she had seen the truth. Lisa took a deep breath. She could feel the tension, the fear, the anticipation. She spoke softly. "Are you John Carter?" John studied her. He could see the question, the doubt, the fear, and the awe in her face. He nodded slightly. "I am," he said calmly. "And you are?" "Lisa Grant," she said. "I am a diplomat. I have seen what you do. I wanted to understand." John's eyes softened slightly. He had expected fear, anger, maybe even hostility. But she seemed honest. Curious, yes, but not a threat. He nodded. "Then you will understand," he said. "But it is not always easy to see clearly. Some stories exaggerate. Some truths are harder to bear." Lisa nodded. She trembled, but she also felt a strange relief. The human warrior was not a monster. He was human. And yet she knew that one human could change the fate of many worlds. That night they spoke quietly, sharing stories of battles, of survival, of hope. Lisa listened, fascinated, learning the truth behind the legend. She realized that fear could be transformed, that stories could teach lessons, and that one human, living by his code, could inspire hope across the galaxy. As John returned to his workshop, Lisa watched him, knowing that their meeting was only the beginning. She had seen the human warrior up close. She had seen the truth. And she knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy was quiet for a short time, but peace never lasted long when John Carter existed. Reports came to the colony that an alien fleet had entered human space, stronger and faster than anything seen before. These were not ordinary raiders or pirates. They were soldiers of an empire long thought dormant, an empire that had attacked many worlds and disappeared centuries ago. John knew that they were coming for him, or at least, they would test him to see if the stories were true. Lisa Grant watched from her ship. She had followed John across several star systems, studying him, learning how he moved, how he fought, and how he protected the innocent. She had seen battles where one human could outsmart dozens of alien ships, and she had seen how he saved lives without unnecessary violence. But now she wondered what would happen if John faced a real army, a fleet prepared to destroy everything in its path. John moved with quiet purpose. He gathered allies quietly, sending messages to human outposts, asking for help, but never revealing too much. Ben Taylor and Kevin Ross joined him, as they always did. They had fought alongside him in the past, and they trusted his judgment more than anyone else's. Together, they prepared defenses, making sure civilians could escape, and that the few human ships in the area could survive long enough for him to act. Lisa's ship hovered near a gas giant. She watched as the alien fleet entered the system. Their ships were fast, armed with weapons that could destroy an entire city in one shot. She felt fear grip her chest, but she also felt curiosity. She had come so far to see John Carter up close. She would see him now in battle, and she would understand why he was feared across the stars. The first clash happened at a small outpost near the planet's rings. John appeared, not from nowhere, but from calculated positions, striking where the enemy expected nothing. His ship moved like a shadow. He disabled weapons without killing the crews when possible. He moved with a skill that seemed impossible for one man. Lisa watched from a distance, heart pounding, eyes wide. She had never seen tactics like this, never seen precision and care in war combined in one being. "He is incredible," Lisa whispered. "But he is only one man. How can he fight all of them?" "Humans are strong," said Taryn, her first officer. "But this is something else. This is a legend in motion." The battle raged across the system. John moved from ship to ship, guiding smaller vessels, disabling the enemy, and saving civilians trapped in damaged stations. Ben and Kevin were by his side, coordinating defenses, watching how John chose every move carefully. He did not act out of anger or pride or cruelty. He acted out of logic and care, protecting those who could not protect themselves. Lisa could not stop staring. She had come expecting fear, expecting a monster, expecting someone dangerous. Instead, she saw calm, skill, and human determination that was stronger than any weapon. She trembled, but not because she was scared for her life. She trembled because she understood that one human could change the outcome of war. One human could alter the future of galaxies. Finally, after hours of fighting, the alien fleet began to retreat. John had outmaneuvered them at every turn. They had underestimated one human, and now their pride and power were broken. The small human outposts and colonies were safe, though some damage remained. John did not celebrate, did not boast. He simply checked on his allies, helped the injured, and ensured everyone could leave the area safely. Lisa decided it was time. She left her hidden position and approached John directly. She did not know how he would react, but she needed answers. She had seen the human warrior in battle. She had witnessed the power that made entire fleets fear his name. Now she needed to speak to him face to face. John noticed her immediately. He was calm, observant, not angry, not afraid. He had seen many strangers, many aliens, many diplomats, and many spies. But she was different. She carried no weapons. She moved respectfully, and yet there was a spark in her eyes. She had watched him fight, and he could sense her understanding of what she had seen. "You followed me," he said softly, not accusing, just stating the truth. Lisa nodded. "I needed to see you to understand. I have seen the stories, and now I have seen the truth. You are unlike anything I imagined." John's eyes softened slightly. "Some truths are harder than legends," he said. "You have seen what I do, but you do not yet understand why. Fear is natural. Hope is harder. Many cannot accept that one human could carry both." Lisa shivered. She did not know why, but the calm power in John's presence made her stomach twist. She realized that she had trembled at his name before, and now, seeing him, she understood why. He was a human, yes, but more than human. He was a force of nature controlled by wisdom and care. She felt a strange mix of fear, respect, and admiration. They walked together across the small settlement, past damaged buildings and frightened civilians. John helped wherever he could, spoke quietly to the injured, and guided those who had lost their way. Lisa watched, learning, understanding, seeing the truth behind the stories. He did not need to fight to prove himself. His actions spoke louder than any legend. As the sun set over the red plains, Lisa finally asked the question she had feared. "Why do they fear you?" John stopped, looking out over the horizon. He did not answer immediately. He thought about battles, about choices, about lives saved and lives lost. Finally, he said, "They fear me because I do not fight like others. I do not seek glory. I fight because it is right." Many cannot accept that one human could make a difference. They cannot accept that courage and skill can protect instead of destroy. Lisa nodded slowly. She felt fear fade, replaced by understanding. She had come expecting a monster, expecting a warrior of destruction. Instead, she found a man who was human, a man who chose to use his strength for good. She realized that one human could change the future of many worlds, and she had witnessed it. For hours, they spoke quietly, sharing stories of past battles, survival, and strategy. John explained how he had learned to fight not for pride but for necessity. Lisa told him of her people, of diplomacy, and of her hope to create peace across galaxies. They learned from each other, two beings from different worlds, united by curiosity and a shared understanding of courage. But even as they spoke, Lisa could see the signs of new threats. Distant ships moved in the shadows, watching, waiting, testing. John could feel them, sense them, know that peace would not last long. Yet he did not fear. He had faced worse before. He had survived. He had protected. He would do it again. Lisa realized that she was standing beside a living legend, someone who carried the weight of galaxies without seeking it. She trembled again, not with fear, but with the knowledge that she had seen history in motion, that she had seen the human warrior face challenges that would break armies and civilizations. John finally turned to her. "The galaxy will continue to test us," he said. "It always does, but those who understand the truth can survive. Those who act with care and courage can change the future." Lisa nodded. She knew that her mission, her journey, was far from over. She had seen the power, the skill, and the heart of the human warrior. She had faced the truth behind the legend, and she knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. As night fell, they walked back to the colony, side by side, two beings from different worlds united by a moment of understanding. Lisa felt a deep respect, a new courage, and a strange hope. She knew that she had seen a human unlike any other, a warrior who inspired both fear and hope, a man who could change the destiny of galaxies. The stars above shone quietly, as if watching the new bond forming between a human and an alien diplomat. The galaxy whispered the name John Carter once more, but now the meaning was different. Fear was still there, yes, but so was understanding, so was hope. And Lisa felt it deep in her heartpiece had been short. The alien empire that had tested John Carter's skill now returned in full force. This time, it was not small raids or scattered ships. Entire fleets moved through human space, armed with weapons that could destroy cities in minutes. John knew the time for caution was over. The galaxy had come for him, and he could no longer avoid the fight. He called Ben Taylor and Kevin Ross, his longtime allies. Together, they coordinated defenses across nearby colonies. Civilians were evacuated, transport ships hidden, and military vessels positioned strategically. John moved calmly, giving orders, checking reports, and planning every move. He did not panic, though he knew the battle ahead would be unlike anything he had faced before. Lisa Grant followed from a safe distance. She had learned much about John Carter over the past weeks, but now she would see him in true war. She had seen skill before, but she had never seen the full power of a human warrior facing overwhelming odds. She felt fear, yes, but also hope. John was dangerous to his enemies, yes, but for the innocent, he was a shield, a protector. The first engagement happened near a small planet with a research station. The alien empire struck suddenly, dropping attack ships in orbit. John's small fleet moved to intercept, using tactics that seemed impossible. He split his forces, using smaller human ships to lure enemies into traps while his main vessels struck at weak points. Lisa watched, heart pounding, as entire squadrons of alien ships were disabled or forced to retreat, often without losing a single human life. "He is everywhere," Lisa whispered. "How can one man do this?" "He does not fight alone," Taryn said, "but he leads, he makes every move count. Every life matters. That is why he is feared." John coordinated fighters, gave precise instructions, and personally piloted a ship to support the most vulnerable positions. He was calm, focused, and ruthless only when necessary. Every attack he made was calculated, not wasteful. The alien forces realized quickly that they were facing a warrior unlike any other, one who could anticipate their every move. As the battle spread across multiple systems, John saved not only humans but also alien civilians caught in the crossfire. Lisa watched as he directed ships to evacuate those trapped, repairing damaged transports, and providing shields where needed. She realized that the fear surrounding him was not just because he could destroy, but because he was unstoppable in protecting life. Ben and Kevin worked alongside him, coordinating reinforcements and supplies. "He is brilliant," Kevin said. "He is not just fighting, he is thinking, planning, protecting. He does not waste strength." Lisa saw John approach an alien cruiser that had trapped hundreds of innocent civilians. The ship's weapons were powerful, and its shields nearly impenetrable. Most would have fled or attacked recklessly. John observed, calculated, and then acted. He used smaller drones to disable shield generators, then positioned his ships to block escape routes for the enemy's fighters. The cruiser was trapped without a single civilian harmed, and the alien soldiers surrendered, amazed at how one human had outmaneuvered them. Lisa trembled, not out of fear for her life but out of awe. She understood why the galaxy feared this man. He was not only strong, he was clever, precise, and merciful. His reputation as a fearsome warrior was true, but the reason he inspired respect as much as terror was the way he chose to fight. John paused briefly to check on his allies. Ben and Kevin reported no casualties from his main forces. Every human and civilian under his protection had survived so far. John nodded, but he knew this was only the beginning. The alien empire would not stop. They would regroup, send stronger forces, and test him again. He had to be ready. Lisa decided to move closer, to speak with him directly in the midst of the chaos. She knew it was dangerous, but she could not stay hidden any longer. She landed her small ship on a nearby platform and ran toward John, weaving between damaged structures and fleeing civilians. John noticed her immediately, but he did not stop his actions. He gave orders to nearby ships, redirected civilians, and protected the injured, all while moving calmly. "John Carter," Lisa shouted over the noise of alarms and explosions. "You are amazing. I have never seen anything like this." John glanced at her briefly. "Thank you," he said calmly. "But there is more to do. We cannot stop now." She nodded, understanding that words were not enough. She watched him as he moved, not a single action wasted, not a single life ignored. He was human, yes, but he carried the strength and skill of legends. She realized that her initial fear of him was misplaced. He was dangerous, yes, but only to those who threatened life. He was kind, careful, and brilliant in the ways that mattered. The alien empire brought in larger forces, including massive warships that threatened entire planets. John met them strategically, dividing his fleet into multiple positions, striking weak points, and using surprise to his advantage. Lisa saw smaller ships moving like shadows, guided by his commands, disabling weapons, creating chaos in enemy ranks without unnecessary destruction. John did not celebrate. He simply moved to the next critical point, directing ships, giving precise instructions, and protecting lives wherever he could. Hours passed. The battle spread across multiple systems. John's leadership was flawless, his skill unmatched. The alien empire began to realize that their legends about the human warrior were true. One man, a single human, could not be stopped easily. His strategy, foresight, and care made him impossible to defeat in a fair fight. Fleets began to retreat, their confidence shaken, their pride destroyed. Lisa finally approached him as the battle slowed. She saw him helping alien civilians trapped in a damaged station. He moved calmly, guiding people to safety, calming them, ensuring that no one was hurt unnecessarily. She approached him, heart pounding. "You saved them," she said. "All of them. How can one man do so much?" John paused, turning to her. "One man is never alone," he said. "I have allies and I fight for a purpose. We fight for life, not glory. That is why we survive." Lisa nodded slowly. She understood. She had feared him because of stories, but now she saw the truth. John Carter was a human warrior, yes, but one who carried responsibility, mercy, and courage. He was feared, yes, but he inspired hope too. She felt a strange mix of respect, awe, and trust. As night fell over the battle-scarred systems, John and his allies regrouped. They checked on civilians, repaired ships, and prepared for any remaining threats. The alien empire had been forced to retreat, unable to break the defense of one human and his allies. John did not celebrate. He had done what he had to do. The galaxy had tested him again, and he had survived, protecting life wherever possible. Lisa stayed close, learning from him, understanding him. She realized that fear and hope could coexist. She had seen the power of one human who could change the outcome of war without cruelty. She trembled not because she feared death, but because she understood what true courage looked like. John finally spoke quietly to her. "This is not over," he said. "The galaxy will always test us, but those who act with care, with courage, and with purpose can survive. We can protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is what matters." Lisa nodded, feeling a new sense of courage. She had seen the human warrior in battle, witnessed his skill, and understood the reason the galaxy feared him. But she also understood the reason they could trust him. John Carter was not a monster. He was human, and yet more than human. He was hope in the darkness, a warrior who carried responsibility, courage, and mercy all at once. As the stars shone quietly over the systems he had protected, Lisa realized that she had been part of history, watching a human warrior who could inspire fear and hope at the same time. She trembled at his presence, yes, but she also felt a strange peace. The galaxy was dangerous, but with John Carter protecting it, there was a chance for life, for hope, and for survival. She knew that the final challenges were yet to come, but she also knew that standing beside him, understanding him, and witnessing his choices had changed her forever. The human warrior had proven that courage, skill, and care could alter the destiny of entire galaxies, and Lisa would never forget ITHE Galaxy was quiet for only a moment. John Carter knew that the alien empire he had fought before would return. This time they would come with everything they had. Entire fleets moved silently through human space, faster and stronger than ever. Their goal was clear: destroy the human colonies, defeat John Carter, and prove that no human could stop them. John gathered his allies, Ben Taylor and Kevin Ross, and many others who had survived previous attacks. They worked tirelessly, preparing defenses, evacuating civilians, and coordinating small fleets. John did not panic. He had faced impossible odds before, and he had survived. He would do it again, not for glory, not for fame, but to protect life. Lisa Grant watched from her ship. She had been with him through the previous battles, learning, observing, and understanding the human warrior. Now she would see the final test. She felt a mixture of fear, awe, and hope. John was dangerous to his enemies, yes, but for the innocent, he was unstoppable. She knew she had to witness this to understand why the galaxy both feared and respected him. The first engagement began near a small system with a human research station. The alien fleet arrived quickly, their weapons ready to destroy everything. John acted immediately. He divided his fleet, using smaller ships to distract and confuse the enemy while his main forces struck weak points in the alien lines. Lisa watched in amazement as ships moved like shadows, striking precisely, avoiding unnecessary damage, and protecting civilians at all costs. "He is everywhere," Lisa whispered. "How can one man command so much?" "He does not fight alone," Taryn said quietly, "but he leads. Every move counts. Every life matters. That is why he is feared." John coordinated his forces carefully. He personally piloted a ship to support the most vulnerable positions, using his experience and skill to anticipate every enemy attack. The aliens realized quickly that this human was not like others. He was not reckless. He was not cruel. He was precise, calculating, and merciful when possible. Lisa could not look away. She had expected a monster, a destroyer, someone who struck fear for the sake of fear. Instead, she saw calm skill, courage, and careful strategy. He moved like a shadow, always appearing where he was needed, always protecting those who could not protect themselves. She trembled, not with fear but with admiration. The alien empire brought in massive warships, ships that could destroy entire planets. John met them with precise tactics. He used clever traps, smaller drones to disable weapons, and his fleet to divide and conquer. Lisa watched as he saved not only humans but also alien civilians trapped in the crossfire. He did not fight for pride or power. He fought because it was right. Ben and Kevin worked alongside him, following his instructions with trust and respect. Every ship, every maneuver, every attack was guided by John's experience and wisdom. He did not waste energy. He did not waste lives. He struck only where necessary and protected everyone he could. Hours passed. The battle spread across the system. John's fleet disabled key alien warships, saved civilians, and forced the enemy to retreat. The alien empire began to understand the truth. One human, guided by skill, courage, and care, could not be defeated easily. John Carter was not just a warrior. He was a force that protected life itself. Lisa approached him again as the battle slowed. She saw him helping alien civilians escape damaged stations, guiding humans to safety and repairing transport ships. She stepped closer, heart pounding, and said, "You saved all of them, every life. How can one man do so much?" John turned to her, calm as always. "One man is never alone," he said. "I have allies. I fight for life, not for glory. That is why we survive." Lisa nodded slowly. She understood. She had feared him because of stories, but now she saw the truth. John Carter was human, yes, but he was extraordinary. He was feared because he was unstoppable, respected because he was merciful, and admired because he protected those who could not protect themselves. She felt a strange mix of fear, respect, and hope. The alien fleet retreated completely. John's tactics and skill had broken their morale and forced them to flee. The human colonies were safe, and the civilians were unharmed. John did not celebrate. He quietly checked on his allies, ensured all ships and people were safe, and began preparing for any other threats. He did not seek glory. He did not seek fame. He only sought to protect life. Lisa watched him, realizing that the stories she had heard across the galaxy were true, but only part of the truth. John Carter was more than the legend. He was a human who carried courage, wisdom, and mercy in every action. She trembled, yes, but she also felt hope. Hope that humans could be trusted, hope that courage and skill could make a difference, and hope that life could survive in a galaxy full of danger. She spoke quietly, standing beside him. "You have changed everything," she said. "The galaxy will never see humans the same way again." John looked out at the stars, calm and focused. "The galaxy will test us again," he said, "but we will survive if we act with care and courage. Protecting life is the most important battle we can fight." Lisa nodded. She realized that she had been part of history, witnessing a human warrior who could inspire fear and hope at the same time. She trembled at his presence, yes, but she also felt peace. The galaxy was dangerous, but with John Carter there was hope. As the stars shone over the systems he had protected, John and his allies worked quietly, repairing damage, helping civilians, and preparing for the future. He did not seek praise. He did not seek power. He only acted with responsibility, courage, and care. The galaxy had tested him, and he had survived, proving that one human could make a difference. Lisa stayed close, learning from him, understanding him. She realized that courage, skill, and care could change the destiny of entire worlds. John Carter had proven that humans were not just survivors, they could be protectors, heroes, and symbols of hope. In the days that followed, stories spread across human and alien worlds. John's name was whispered with both fear and respect. The galaxy had learned that he fought not for glory, not for conquest, but for life itself. Lisa spoke openly about what she had seen, explaining that the human warrior was not a monster, but a protector. Alien leaders began to change their view of humans, realizing that courage and mercy could coexist. John quietly returned to his colony. He repaired ships, helped settlers, and spoke to friends. He did not boast. He did not seek attention. The galaxy knew his name, but he did not need to remind anyone who he was. He had acted, protected, and survived. That was enough. Lisa watched him one last time before leaving. She felt admiration, respect, and hope. She knew that humans could be trusted, that courage could make a difference, and that one person could alter the future of many worlds. John Carter was no longer just a legend. He was real, he was human, and he was hope. The galaxy whispered his name once more, not only in fear, but in respect and admiration. John Carter had survived impossible battles, protected countless lives, and shown that one human could be more than anyone imagined. Lisa smiled, knowing she had seen history, and knowing that the galaxy would never forget the human warrior who fought not for himself, but for life. As she left, she looked back at John. He stood quietly among the stars, calm, strong, and human. She knew the galaxy had changed, and she knew that hope could exist even in the darkest places. John Carter had proven that humans could inspire fear, command respect, and above all, protect life across the universe.